case you haven't noticed, almost all of us in the Delmarva Life family have a dog or two or three. Well, here are just a few of our adorable family members. Everyday life they live, playing, sleeping, wondering why we woke them up just to take a picture. That was the case of my dog, at least.
Now this is Bruno. We'd like you to meet Bruno, who is a canine officer that was nearly killed in the line of duty. And for the first time, his human partner is talking about it. Now, for those of us who treat our dogs like they really are our children, you'll probably understand what Officer R.J. Young experienced in a life and death situation with his partner, Bruno.
But yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that if Bruno wasn't there, there's not a doubt in my mind that somebody would have gotten hurt.
4 SWAT officers were in the line of fire, including canine handler R.J. Young, as police and a service dog named Bruno searched for a gunman. In a hail of gunfire between the suspect and officers, his partner, a sable German Shepherd, was critically wounded.
The image that I saw, I will never get out of my head. It was horrific. I didn't know at the moment. I didn't know if he had been shot, if he had been stabbed. I wasn't sure what had happened. But it looked like half of his face was gone, and to see that in your partner that you've always seen, it decimated me.
R.J. Young grabbed Bruno, put him in the back of the car, and drove like crazy to get to the animal hospital. All the while, fellow officers blocked off intersections as Young briefed dispatchers who communicated with the vet on Bruno's condition. The dog was losing a lot of blood, but his master kept talking to him the whole way, encouraging Bruno to stay awake.
He was standing up a good portion of the way. About halfway there, he fell over, and I started banging on the cage, trying to talk to him. I wanted to see him, and he wouldn't stand back up, but I could see his ears up, so at least I knew he was still awake. That was the big thing. I didn't want him to go to sleep.
Tell me, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Hi. Good to see you again. Yes.
Bruno continues to recover after being shot in the mouth. The animal hospital will be his home for several weeks. Officer Young and his wife, Rachel, wanted to offer a little something to the staff, so they brought in lunch. News of Bruno's shooting and recovery has spread far and wide. He is the department hero.
As devastated and heartbroken I am over Bruno, my husband came home, and he may not have, there was 3 other guys there with him, and it could have been one of those. And I spoke to another wife, and she said that their family is just eternally grateful for Bruno because he saved her husband as well.
Bruno was initially treated for a shattered jaw and damaged lungs following the shooting, underwent additional surgery last week to have a breathing tube removed. Now, a little side note here, Bruno appeared to be well on his way to a full recovery when he was rushed into emergency surgery just 2 nights ago with a potentially deadly gastric problem. He came through, and he is recovering again.
And as you can tell, Bruno is more than just a member of Officer Young's family. In fact, the entire community has come together in some pretty remarkable ways for this canine officer. According to the Facebook page of a group supporting the entire canine division, the overwhelming support for Bruno has just been amazing. The number of kids who have written letters, made get well cards, and posters for Bruno warms the heart. Some kids have donated their allowances and tooth fairy money to Bruno's retirement fund.
Now, take a look at this. A nearby private school collected pennies and presented a $2,200 check for Bruno. Now, when it comes to the retirement of canine officers, there are no benefits. After 6 to 9 years, the dogs are usually retired, and their handlers usually assume responsibility for them for about the same cost as just about any dog.
So what about protecting canine officers better? Well, there are canine ballistic vests that are available, like this one, but they can run anywhere from $900 on up. The Anne Arundel County Sheriff's Office will now be able to get ballistic vests like this, though, thanks to a nationwide event that raised more than $335,000.
That project was organized in memory of this guy, Canine Officer Rocco of the Pittsburgh Police Department, who was fatally stabbed in the line of duty in January. All of the vests will be embroidered with the words "In memory of Canine Rocco, Pittsburgh Police Department." That his video of Rocco's services.
Wow. Now, you hate to hear of something like that happening to such an innocent creature. But in the time that our pets do have here on this earth, they can really provide an unconditional love like none other. If you haven't experienced it, we'll introduce you to a few cats and dogs on Delmarva that would like to show you their love if you would just make them part of your family. Pet Connect is next.
Plus, you're going to love the sounds of dark gold jazz. They'll take the Delmarva Life stage in historic Studio D a little bit later on. Delmarva Life will be right back.